we had all these demonstrations about Black Lives Matters, and without a question, Black Lives Matters. But there's a big problem worldwide, which is not very often talked about it. But let me give you some facts about child trafficking and what happens to the kids worldwide. 40 million victims of trafficking globally every year. Almost 20% of them are children. And this is on the EU Anti-Trafficking Day 2019. This statistic was there shown, and it's on their website, posted on the 18th of October 2019. 40 million victims of trafficking globally every year. Almost 20% are children. That's 8 million. 8 million. And these are not the real numbers. The majority of trafficked children are used for sexual exploitation. Abortion was the leading cause of death worldwide in 2019, killing 42 million people. Yes, guys, babies are people. 42 million. Wow. Let me give you some other number about life who matters.
In fact, right now, more than 260 million Christians live in areas of high persecution. That's 1 in 8 Christians worldwide. Each year, the World Watch List tracks persecution against Christians around the world to help us understand what's happening in the global church and how we can pray and support our suffering family. China is number 23 on this year's World Watch List, but that number doesn't tell the whole story. But the church here tells a different story.
Christians are increasingly being pushed underground in China. Pastors are being detained, churches are being closed, and people who have a personal faith in Jesus are being watched using technology that was never available before. The church is being squeezed in China, but sometimes when the church is squeezed, it grows.
And China is just one country on the 2020 World Watch List. Christians around the world are being pressured, targeted, and attacked. The Christians in the top 50 countries on this year's list may be suffering, but we can stand with them in prayer and support. We invite you to join us in 2020 as we stand with our sisters and brothers around the world.
Open Doors is serving in over 60 countries around the world, standing with the persecuted church. We'd love for you to join us. We are one church, one family.
In the Middle East, the populations of Christians used to be around 20%, and it's now at 5%. And if you go on the website of Open Doors, you will see how many Christians are persecuted worldwide. But let me tell you something about trafficked kids. Children are being targeted and sold for sex in America every day. Young girls, some as young as 9-year-olds, being bought and sold for sex in America. The average age for a young woman being sold for sex is now 13 years old. Sex trafficking, especially when it comes to the buying and selling of young girls, has become the big business in America. The fastest growing business. It became more lucrative and much safer to sell teens than trucks or guns. Every 2 minutes, a child is exploited in the sex industry. According to USA Today, adults purchase children for sex at least 2.5 million times a year in the United States of America. And the people who buy these kids for sex, there's ordinary people from all walks of life. Could be a co-worker, could be a doctor, pastor, spouse, whatever. They're coming from all walks of life. And this is where children are bought for sex. This is not about child pornography and everything that's going on there. It's estimated that 7,200 men, half of them in their 30s, seek to purchase sex with girls each month. An average child might be raped by 6,000 men during a 5-year period of, and you can't call it different, torture. It's estimated that at least 100,000 children, girls and boys, are bought and sold for sex in the USA every year, with as many as 300,000 children in danger of being trafficked each year. Some are runaways, some of them are forcefully abducted, and some are sold into the system by relatives and people they know. It's on its way to becoming one of the worst crimes in the USA. There's an industry that revolves around cheap sex on the fly with young girls and women who are sold to 50 men each day for $25. It's estimated that there are 100,000 to 150,000 underage child sex workers in the USA. The girls, they do not volunteer to be sex slaves. They're being lured, forced, trafficked into it. And in most cases, they have no choice. So where did this appetite for these young girls come from? Young girls have been sexualized for years now in music videos, on billboards, in television ads, in clothing stores. Marketers have created the demand for young flesh, and someone calls it the pornification of a generation. In a market that sells high heels for babies. You know, there are high heels for babies. Nearly 800,000 children going missing every year. This is around 2,185 children a day. And those who are being sold for sex have an average life expectancy of 7 years. There's a growing demand for sexual slavery and an endless supply of girls and women who can be targeted for abduction. This is not a problem that's going away anytime soon. That's a problem who is increasing. And I could go on and could go on and could go on. But I want to tell you a story I experienced, because that's reality. So we have all this demonstration, but who's going out for these millions of babies who are aborted? Who's going out on the streets for these kids who are sex trafficked, who disappear? You go on a site missing children, man, you can cry. That's all what you can do. I worked many years ago with people in India saving kids from sex trafficking. And we got kids from areas which I can't speak about it, where whole villages birthing children to sell them. People want children to sell them. It's business. And the mafia gets there and they're selling for $200 to the mafia, and they pick the kids up. And we had some information about when they got there. So very often we could come earlier there and get the children and bring them in a safe place. And you know how I got involved? When I get the first time a report what happened to them. So these kids are taken from this man. The parents say, go with them. You will work in the house of a rich man and he will pay for us so that we have money. So they're going with them, and you know what happens then? They will be gang raped. Kids, small, few years old. They will be they're held in a cage, in a secret room, in a brothel, and then they take their cigarettes, burn them with it, and things like that. Totally break them, destroy them, until the kids let happen everything with them. Gosh, what's going on in this world? What's going on? How can people stand up Of course we shall take care of this nature. Of course we shall take care of the creation. I'm a firm believer in God. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. He saved my life. He changed my life. We have people who buy diamond jewelry for their dogs. Us kids out there could be saved with this money. And there needs to be a justice. Because sadly in this world, so many people are involved also in high places. Money is paid and things like this. But our system is not very good in acting in a righteous and justice way. So guys, yes, Black Lives Matters. But there are millions and millions of kids sold in the sex traders, slaves. Where are the 10 and 15,000 on the streets for them? Where are the 10 and 15,000 for the Christians worldwide persecuted? Worldwide persecuted from nations which we received their people in our nation and help them. Where are these people who stand up against their own nation saying that's not right? Where are the people who open up their mouth and say, hey, there are babies killed? What you see there in the background, that's my goals. That's why I do what I do. I will do everything to reach these goals, to save thousands and thousands of these kids. But so before next time you shout black life, white life, the life of a whale, the life of a dog, the life of a cat matters, maybe you remember these kids. Maybe you remember the persecuted Christians in China, the Middle East, different places who are killed. Maybe we should shout more, save the children instead of save the animals. Because if we come to the place where we respect our own life, the life of these children and the other people, we might also respect the life of animals and of creation. God bless you.